Good afternoon and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Savitri Krishnamurthy. I teach English and Reasoning at BYJU'S. I will be taking a series of classes which would help you do better in your aptitude tests since the season has started. Lot of tests round the corner. Today we're going to look at frequently asked words. What kind of words are asked most often in aptitude tests and how to prepare for it. Now, today's session, I have chosen slightly difficult words because I've chosen words which have idioms and phrases which have appeared in past year papers. But and if you don't do very well on it, don't worry. Slowly, with ongoing sessions, I will be giving you a mix of basics and hard words. Today, though, most of the words have been asked in some context or the other in aptitude tests. All right, what are the different kinds of questions? Hello, Saket. Hello, Priyanshi. So, vocabulary can be tested in different ways. CAT decides to test your vocabulary in RC itself. It doesn't ask any direct vocabulary questions. But in other management entrances, ZAT, IFT is part of CAT now, NMAT, TISNET, CMAT, all these exams, vocabulary is an integral part. At least 10 to 15 questions on vocabulary. Hello, Tarun, Shrishti. Today is good afternoon. Yes, it is afternoon. All right. So contextual vocabulary is one of the types of questions. What do you mean by contextual vocabulary? The easiest way. You are given a clue. You are given a chance to guess the meaning of a word. A sentence is given to you and you are asked what is the meaning of the underlined or highlighted word. Right? So that is quite easy, but only if they choose a sentence where the meaning is evident. All right, today I've given you a mix of both. Fill in the blanks. A sentence is given, 2 words are taken out, 1 word is taken out, and you are asked to fill it in so that the sentence is completed meaningfully. Direct questions, cold call questions, where they give you a word and ask you what is the synonym of the word, what's the antonym of the word. The greatest danger of antonyms is synonym is one of the options of the word, and I end up marking the synonym, forgetting that the question has asked the antonym or the opposite of the word. IIFT till last year, now IIFT, you have to take CAT to get into IIFT, but IIFT till last year used to have lots of one-word substitutes. What one-word substitutes do is help a test taker understand if you really know a word for a description. So we may see it in other exams, but one-word substitutes was very, very commonly asked in IIFT exams. Idioms and phrases, again, because the context, the meaning of an idiom or a phrase does not change with context, and you people do not read much. Idioms and phrases can be tricky for people who don't read. Analogies, of course, the old favorite of any test aptitude question setter. All right. So let's start. Are you ready to start? Okay. What is the meaning of the underlined word? Here I have highlighted it as used in the following sentence. Be cautious of apocryphal stories made up by people who want to cause division and strife in society. So quickly give me your answer. What is the meaning of apocryphal? Apocryphal is an adjective used to describe a story. Is it tragic, violent, false, or authentic? Because he's asking you to be careful of it. So apocryphal would have a negative context. Because he is used the term made up by people, so these are stories which are created by people. They need not be tragic or violent, but what is made up? False stories are made up by people. Therefore, apocryphal means false. Authentic means genuine, right? So the answer is C. Most of you gave it. Thank you. These essays seem esoteric, but we are trying. So you've got the meaning of apocryphal, store it. Now let's go to another tough sounding word. Once you know it, you'll say, this is it. Esoteric is an esoteric word. Okay, once you know the meaning, you will see how well the word fits in with its meaning. These essays seem esoteric, but we are trying to make them attractive and accessible to more people. So since it is saying, but we are trying to make it attractive and accessible to more people, esoteric would have a meaning which is probably something which is not accessible to more people, not attractive to more people. So what do you think would be the nature of the essays? Abstruse, difficult to understand. Abject, dismal. All right. You suggested a song to me, Victor. All right. Redolent. What does redolent mean? What does redoubtable? Do you think esoteric means abstruse, abject, redolent, or redoubtable? What is the meaning of esoteric? Esoteric essays which are neither attractive nor accessible to people. So that would make it known to only a few people, not accessible, not within the understanding of others. Therefore, abstruse. Abstruse means hard to understand, which is one of the meanings of esoteric. Esoteric also means known only to a few people. If it is known only to a few people, then obviously it is hard to understand for other people. Correct? Abject. Abject means dismal, very poor, very bad. Abject poverty. All right. Abject is pretty basic. Abject poverty, abject dejection, very poor. All right. Redolent means reminiscent. Okay, Victor thinks the words that I gave are redolent of Vikrant's class. Redolent, reminiscent, something that makes you remember something else. Okay, the air was redolent with mystery. It reminded you of mystery. Redoubtable means formidable. You use the word redolent, redoubtable for an opponent. Okay, India and Pakistan consider each other redoubtable opponents. Pakistan may play like trash with any other country, but with us they play very well, which is why India-Pakistan matches are so full of thrill and excitement. The thrill and excitement of an Indo-Pak match cannot be matched by anything else, except probably England and Australia this time in the Ashes match. So redoubtable means a formidable opponent. Right now, China is a redoubtable opponent for America. America never thought that China could ever catch up with it. China is facing its own problems, but it is being seen as a threat. It's been seen as a redoubtable, a very strong opponent. Clear? Now we learned so many words. We learned apocryphal, abstruse, redolent, and redoubtable. In your list of words, next time, every 4 classes, I will repeat some of the words, not all of them. All right, we know esoteric means abstruse. Do you know the meaning of exoteric? Connect it with esoteric and tell me if esoteric means difficult to understand, not known to many people. What do you think exoteric means? Do you think it's the opposite of esoteric? If it is the opposite of esoteric, what do you think is the meaning of exoteric? Quickly type in the answer. Let me see. The moment I get one answer, right or wrong, we'll move to the next word. What do you think is the meaning of exoteric? It is the opposite of esoteric, Vedant. It is the opposite of esoteric. Something that a lot of people understand, suitable for the general public. Esoteric is something which is, esoteric could be exotic, known only to a few people. But exoteric means known and suitable for the general public. All right? All right. Age is an inexorable process and no one can stop it. What is the meaning of inexorable? Invidious, topid, ineluctable, or avertible? What is the meaning of inexorable? It's a word used to describe age. An inexorable process, an adjective which is being used to describe age. So what do you think it means? Unavoidable. Which word here means unavoidable, Vedant? Which word here means unavoidable? Ineluctable. Relentless. It just goes on and on. You cannot avoid it. It progresses without any stop, right? Ineluctable. What does invidious mean? Invidious. Invidious. Unpleasant. Something that creates a lot of unpleasantness is called invidious. All right? Torpid. When it's extremely hot, extremely cold, even in the monsoons. Let's say it's raining. You don't feel like getting out of bed. So rain induces a state of torpidity. Extreme colds induces torpidity in animals like bears, which don't move because it's too cold to go out. They can't get food, so they conserve their energy by going into a state of torpidity. So what does torpid mean? Torpid means dormant, lazy, not moving, inactive. All right. Avertible, something that can be avoided. Avertible means avoidable, opposite of inexorable. All right. Okay. Choose the word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The politician said that there was a mendacious propaganda being carried on against him. So what kind of propaganda is being carried against the politician, and what is the opposite of that? There was a mendacious propaganda. What does mendacious mean? Opposites you got, because it's knowing, it's a word which goes against propaganda. So truthful, yes, but what does mendacious mean? Not truthful. Okay, something that is a mendacious person is a liar, misleading, deceitful. So what does vicious mean? What does vicious mean? Vicious campaign, vicious propaganda, harmful, evil. Okay, vicious means brutal, savage. Actually, vicious, the best word is savage. What does malicious mean? Full of malice, again, which means harmful. Reproach means what? If you are reproach, your parents reproach you for doing something. Nowadays, parents don't reproach children, but generally. Reproach means scold you, criticize you. Reproachful means critical, disapproving. Alright, yes, words which starts with M-A-L generally means harmful. M-I-S means hateful. Okay, a misanthrope hates mankind. Maladroit, not good, bad, not adept. Okay, so malevolent means harmful. Okay, mendacious means lying, not truthful. Excellent. Let me ask you, then what does mendacity mean? And what does mendacity mean? Mendacity, mendacious are related. Mendacity means lying. He was punished. You know the story of the shepherd and the wolf. Long back when you were children, you read about the time when he shouted wolf and wolf and wolf. When there was no wolf, he laughed at the people who came to help him. When the wolf was actually there, he shouted for help. Nobody came. So he paid for his mendacity or lying. What does mendacity mean? What does, So the boy who cried wolf paid for his mendacity, for lying, for his untruthfulness. What does mendacity mean? Mendacity comes from the word, I'm a lefty, which makes it difficult for me to write without moving. Okay, mendicant. Okay, let me make this correct. This is ridiculous. Let me write it well. Who is a mendicant? A mendicant is a monk or a beggar. There's no difference. Well, the difference being that mendicant chooses to give up what he has and chooses to beg for a living. Only what he requires he will beg. A beggar, on the other hand, begs for making money, or he's too lazy to work. A monk or a beggar. So mendicant is a monk or a beggar. General word is monk. Buddha became a mendicant. The prince turned mendicant. So mendicity, if there is an I and I say mendicity, reduced to the state of begging. Buddha, Gautam Buddha, prescribed a life of mendicity to his followers. He told them, give up all your worldly belongings and come, meditate, do good to people. So his followers asked him, what do we do? And they said that beg for a living. And they were allowed, they didn't beg at every traffic crossing, They only begged once a day, and whatever they got, that is it. All right, next word. We finished this, all right. The opposition accused the government of being parsimonious in its spending on defense. What is the right answer? I've got answers D and B. Please read the question. What did the question ask? Choose the word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. So, do you think the government spent a lot, or do you think the government did not spend enough? What did the opposition criticize the government of being? The opposition accused the government of being parsimonious in its spending. So it accused the government of not spending enough on defense. So government was stingy, miserly, कंजूसी दिखाया, economical, did not spend enough money. I don't want the meaning, I want the opposite. So munificent means generous. Government was not generous in its spending. It tightened its fists where it came to defense. So the government said, why you do? The opposition obviously criticized the government for it. So A, B and C are the meanings of parsimonious, which means miserly, economical, not spending, being very careful. Economical is not a bad thing. If you're an economical person, that means you're careful about spending your money. Your friends may call you a miser, but you're not. I mean, when it comes to anything, I'm very economical. When it comes to books, I just behave like I'm Ambani. So, being economical, there's nothing wrong with being economical. It's my money. I'm working very hard to earn it. So, I will spend only on things that I want to, and I'll not splurge. But stingy and miserly are words with a negative connotation. They mean that where you have to spend also, you're not spending. You're just being vague. So those are words with a negative connotation. All right? Okay. Next is fill in the blanks. He was a master of dash and delivered his speeches in his unforgettable deep dash voice. So what was he a master of, and what word would you use to describe this person's voice to complete the sentence meaningfully and make sense? If you've enjoyed the session so far, if you've remembered, if you like the words so far, do press a like button. Rhetoric and mournful, strategy and hollow. Okay, Amav, Imam, both say A, Saket says C, Virendra says D. Tarun says B. Priyanshi C. All right. Now, we'll go to two things. What are we talking about? We are talking about somebody who is delivering a speeches, his speeches, somebody who's speaking, and he is a master of something. So you immediately connect that he is good at the speeches he is giving because he is a master of something. And so he didn't say but. Therefore, the words we want are both positive in their connotation. What is rhetoric? The art of speaking eloquently, the art of persuading. So he can be a master of rhetoric. I'll accept that he can be a master of strategy. And why would a master of strategy give speeches? Okay, master of political strategy who's trying to win elections, maybe, but why would he give it in a deep, hollow voice? Remember, a hollow voice is not. What do you mean by a hollow voice? It's a strong voice, it's a weak voice. Okay, so obfuscation. Somebody marked, see, ये पता नहीं है तो देख लेते हैं. Obfuscation means to deliberately confuse somebody. To obfuscate somebody is to confuse somebody. So he could be a master of obfuscation. How can he deliver his speeches in a deep, mild voice? Mellow means mild. How can you say deep, mild voice? If your voice is deep, it cannot be mellow. Understood? Mellow means mild. We normally say mellow temperament. A season is called mellow season. Mellow means very mild, no extremes of anything. So it cannot be this. Okay, rhetoric will work, but mournful voice, people do not give great speeches in a sad voice. So the correct answer has to be D, a master of oratory. Oratory and rhetoric are the same thing, the art of speaking. So an orator is one who gives public speeches, and here it's written delivers his speeches in an unforgettable, deep, resonant voice. The voice was strong and powerful. It almost seemed to reverberate. Let's say you're talking of Obama. Fantastic orator, right? When you listen to him speak, you are just fascinated by what he is saying. So that is a master of oratory. All right? Clear, all of you? So answer is D. Next. Again, I gave, this word was a cat word, this was a zat word, and this was a zat word. So I made my own sentence to make you know the difference between this and this. So all these words. His father was old-fashioned and still clung to the many old dash of education. Guess, then I'll tell you the meanings of some of the words. All of them. All right, quickly tell me. Please mark the question number. Good. Virendra Singh thinks it's B. चलो guess मारते हैं. पता तो नहीं, paranoia, phobia नहीं हो सकता. Either shibboleth or shenanigan. So Virendra decided to mark B. Once you've answered the question, you can look up the dictionary. Look it up. I have no problem. But after you've answered the question, please look it up. Find out the meanings. Quickly, I want that. No. After you answer, you look up the dictionary. Test yourself first. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a guess. Then look up the word. And then say, acha, now this is the word. This is where I went wrong. Tarun says it's A. There are two meanings. Okay, let's go with phobia. What is a phobia? An irrational fear of something. You know, a spider is a small, spindly thing somewhere on the wall. But there are people who freeze when they see a spider. I know that a mouse can't do anything. A small thing, max, what will it do? It will damage a sari of mine. But the moment I see that little thing going in the corner of the road, if I ever see, I start screaming at the top of my voice. Okay, that irrational fear, you can't explain it. That's a phobia, and there can be serious phobias as well, right? So they need treatment and counseling. So this is that. Paranoia is a distrust. That's also a mental condition. When you don't trust anybody, you feel everybody is out to. If you're paranoid, that means you are paranormal is ghost, Tarun. Paranoid means you always suspect that everybody is my enemy, everybody is trying to take revenge on me, everybody is trying to hurt me. So that victim, the feeling that you're a victim, you're being targeted by somebody, that's a paranoia. And if you have a paranoia, you say, don't be paranoid. You say, you know what, today I felt all my classmates were laughing at me. And somebody would say, or all my teammates in office were laughing at me. Somebody else says, don't be paranoid. Right? So an unreasonable feeling that everybody is out to get you, that's a paranoia. So it cannot be this, and it can't be paranoia of education, cannot be phobia of education, because he's old-fashioned. he is likely to stick to the old rules and customs and traditions, which is shibboleth. Alright, it also is certain rules and customs known to a few people. It can also be used in that. What is shenanigan? A shenanigan is a mischief. Shenanigans are your mischievous acts of mischief. They're not necessarily. So political shenanigans, the politics that people play to get an upper hand, to appear good to the voters, those are all called political shenanigans. Clear? These two words, we don't use them often. So just remember, these two will take you a long way. Alright, so this father clung to many old customs and traditions, or shibboleths of education. Alright, let's look at the next one. Definite to confuse many of you. When I was a student, I used to get very confused by these words. So I thought I would give it to you. The young boy was the dash of an old aristocratic family, dash for its extravagant lifestyle. Alright, quickly go through the words. Ancestor, famous, predecessor, known, progeny, rumored, scion, notorious. Read the sentence and see which one works best. Alright, I have two answers for B, one for D. Alright, most seem to say B. Pre का मतलब क्या है? Pre. Something precedes, predecessor, precedent, मतलब क्या है? What does the prefix pre mean? What does the prefix pre mean? Why is it called a prefix? What does it mean? Predetermined, पहले से पता था. Precedent, an example. Predecessor is somebody who comes before you. So how can the young boy be the predecessor of an old aristocratic family? Uska family hai, he belongs to an old aristocratic family. So B to nahi hoga. It cannot be B. The young boy cannot be a predecessor of his old traditional family. Alright, so its ancestor bhi nahi hoga. Your forefathers are your ancestors. So pre and fore means the same thing. Predecessor is your forefather. Your nani, nani's nani, nana's nana, all of them are your ancestors, your predecessors. So it cannot be this, it cannot be this. It has to be either C or D. Now read the sentence and decide. Progeny is a child or a successor. Scion is also a successor. Now decide, read and see which one. So the options, actually it's the second option which would help you choose. Read the sentence properly. इसमें grammar का थोड़ा knowledge होना चाहिए, because you can't get it that easy, right? So now tell me, is it C or is it D? Progeny and scion are the same thing, but generally a successor is called a scion. Yes, predecessor is your ancestor. Yeah, you don't say rumored for its extravagant lifestyle. Rumored for नहीं बोलते हैं. Notorious for. Famous is when people know you for a good thing. These people are splurging money. So when you get fame for the wrong reasons, that's called notorious or notoriety. So we say somebody was a great general, but we say Veerappan was a notorious smuggler. Why? Because Veerappan was also famous. The problem is he was famous for all the wrong things. So we say that is notorious. Known for all the wrong reasons. Right? So the answer is D. Clear? Scion is the successor. Alright. Again, 4 words which sound correct, sound similar and are very confusing. I decided to give all 4 in one question. The wedding was a grand affair. It was goes with all 4 options, an dash display of money and power of India's foremost businessman. India's richest businessman's daughter got married, and that wedding was a grand affair. Grand affair where the businessman wanted to show the world, tell the world, मेरे पास पैसा है, मैं खर्च करूँगा. Look, I've spent so much at the wedding. So what kind of display is it? Ostensible, ostentatious, obstreperous, or objurgation? What's the word you would use for it? A and B, two options I am seeing. Ostensible, ostentatious, obstreperous, objurgation. All right. So when they have, let's say, when they have these defense exercises, right? So they don't want the world to know it. So what would they do? They would have some kind of a regatta, some kind of an exercise, very friendly exercise, for the ostensible reason of public entertainment, but the actual reason is different. Ostensible means apparent. So if you read books on money laundering, how people get money illegally and try to tell they found it. So what do? They have a shop, a dry cleaning shop, and actually they do something else. So the dry cleaning business was the ostensible, dry cleaning was the ostensible activity. Apparently he does that, but actually he does something else. What looks like it is but isn't, that is ostensible. Ostentatious means showy. So it was an ostentatious display of wealth. You can have wealth, you need not show off, but if you have wealth and you show it too, that's called an ostentatious display. Obstreperous means stubborn, unruly, disobedient. Objurgation means criticism. Alright, so the correct answer is B. Alright, 4 O words, remember them. Ostensible, ostentatious, obstreperous, and objurgation. Alright, we're having a cricket tournament. No rest days in the middle. Okay, so the dash of the tournament will depend on the dash of the weather. Success, vicinity, failure of flexibility, success, vagaries, or popularity, variability. A tournament, cricket, hockey, football, no rest day in the middle, and what you do? The success, vicinity, failure of flexibility, success, vagaries, all depends on your knowledge of alright. Vicinity means how close. Vicinity means proximity. Weather mein proximity to we can't use. Okay. Is there a post office in the vicinity? Okay. Vicinity means proximity. Pass me. Failure, flexibility of the weather nahi hoga. Vagaries means uncertainties. As long as it doesn't rain, it's fine. Even if it rains, it should rain in the morning. Even if it rains, there should be enough time for the super soaker to work and at least 10 overs for each team. So vagaries. Now variability means changing, deviation, variability, but that does not necessarily mean uncertainty. Alright, and popularity depending on variability doesn't work, doesn't make sense. Clear? Alright, now we go to direct synonyms and antonyms. What is the synonym of the word propensity? What do you think propensity means? What is the synonym of propensity? Inclination, declination, support, or supposition? You have a propensity to forget your keys. You have a propensity to bang the door. Okay, I have a propensity to keep lifting my glasses. Somebody has a propensity for something. Propensity, a tendency, a involuntary habit. So inclination. Declination is used more for describing the position of the sun or a downward tilt. Alright. So correct answer is inclination. Next. Synonym of surreptitious. What do you think is the meaning of the word surreptitious? Superstitious, religious, flagrant, or clandestine? Surreptitious means what? Superstitious, religious, flagrant, or clandestine? A surreptitious visit to somebody's house. You do something surreptitiously. What does that mean? In an exam, not so much for looking at somebody's answer, but you just want to see, "Arey, mujhe to kuch nahi aa raha hai. How many people are writing the exam?" You glance in such a way that the invigilator doesn't say, "Why are you looking at him?" You glance at that person surreptitiously, so that nobody else notices it. So kind of secretly. Surreptitious means secret. Which word here means secret? Can't be religious, can't be superstitious. So these are gone. Out of flagrant and clandestine, which one do you think means secret? Clandestine. Clandestine. Okay, surreptitious, clandestine, furtive, and covert. These are the 4 words for secret generally asked. Surreptitious meeting, clandestine meeting we say. Clandestine means secret. Nobody knows about it. They met surreptitiously. Okay? So something done in secret without anyone's knowledge is called surreptitious, clandestine, furtive, or covert. Opposite would be overt, open, explicit. Alright? What does flagrant mean? Don't confuse it with fragrant. Fragrant means something which has an aroma, aromatic, smelling good, like an agarbatti, incense stick. What does flagrant? Flagrant violation of rules. You go on the other side of the road when it is this way and nobody catches you. Then you are breaking the rule and you are not afraid to do so. Openly offensive. That is what flagrant is. The other word close enough is blatant. Openly you're doing it because you're not scared. Who's going to catch me? That is flagrant. No, flamboyant means showy, panache, with style. So Virendra Sehwag was a flamboyant batsman. He hit like crazy. When he hit, it was fantastic to watch him. Flamboyant means doing something with style and panache. But flagrant is a word with a negative connotation. He broke the rules without caring. Then flagrant violation of rules. Alright? Clear? So, surreptitious means clandestine or secret. Alright. Identify the synonym of the given word. Taciturn. Would you call me a taciturn person? Okay, talkative, slimy, reticent, loquacious. What do you think is the synonym of taciturn? Well, that Akshit, it's A if you describe me as taciturn and you're not being sarcastic. So, can I be called taciturn is what I asked. I didn't say you should call me that. Nobody, not even people who love me a lot would call me taciturn. Alright. I am a non-stop radio station. I talk all the time. Okay. So, I would be the opposite of taciturn. Right? Taciturn means somebody who doesn't talk much. Okay. So, taciturn does not mean talkative. Talkative and loquacious are the same. Taciturn means reticent. Somebody who doesn't like to speak. Somebody who's very reserved. Quieter. Alright? Okay. I am not taciturn. I like to be called loquacious. Though somebody might call me garrulous. Now there's nothing wrong with garrulous. I somehow think it sounds more like irritatingly talkative. Loquacious sounds very nice. But the dictionary would tell you both mean the same thing. So yeah. I often use garrulous in a kind of, not a very positive sense, but The dictionary would say they both are the same. All right. Okay. What is the meaning or synonym of the word venal? Venal. Corrupt, trivial, inconspicuous, or significant. Now, there are exams which like to confuse you. So in options, when they give you answers, they know there's a word and a similar sounding word. The words that are generally confused are venal and venial. The venality of public services in certain countries. Okay, generally when you read books, the book would be about venality in the government, venality in a particular department of the government, right? So venal means corrupt. All right, venal means corrupt, venality means the corruption. Venial means trivial. A small offense is called a venial offense, very small. Trivial, which is the same thing as inconspicuous, something that you do not notice. The other word that you often confuse it is with vernal. Vernal means spring-like. Okay, vernal is the adjective used to describe spring. Vernal colors in the garden. When it is spring, a season that we don't know much in India, you know, in the West they have 4 seasons: summer, autumn, winter, spring. But in India it is summer, monsoon, winter, right? Almost like that. So vernal means to do with spring-like. That's the exact meaning. All right. What, you know this word, you've used this, I'm sure, many times. Vernal equinox is spring, equinox in spring. That's around March, right? Identify the synonym of mitigate. Advocate, propagate, exacerbate, or alleviate. What is the synonym of mitigate? He worked to mitigate the sufferings of the poor. Okay, Mother Teresa dedicated all her life to mitigate the sufferings of the poor. What does mitigate mean? Mitigate the traffic crisis in our cities. Mitigate the effects of climate change. Mitigate means make it more bearable, lessen, decrease the intensity, alleviate. Don't confuse it with elevate. Elevate means to rise, alleviate means to lessen or decrease the effects of something. Advocate is to support something by speaking in favor of it. You advocate a particular law as a verb, right? Propagate is to spread. Exacerbate is to worsen. It is the opposite of to make a situation worse. Then you say you exacerbate the situation. So sometimes they pass a law and you will say instead of alleviating the problems, it has exacerbated the situation, has made it worse, right? Okay, so mitigate means alleviate. Good, many of you got that right. All right, let's now look at one word substitution. What is the meaning of a street that is open at one end only? You enter, you can't get out. What is the name for such a street? In India, they say dead end. In Bangalore, if you ask anybody directions, they'll say, go straight, take the dead end and go to the right. Dead end ka matlab hai right or left nahi hai. It's a dead end. The only way is to come back, right? So what do you think is? All right, let me tell you. An alley is a street. What kind of street? I don't know. A boulevard is also a street. Okay? A cul-de-sac is also a street. A traffic circle is a roundabout. You know, there'll be a circle or an island and cars go around it to take whichever exit. That's a roundabout. So roundabout to nahi hai. Alley, cul-de-sac, boulevard are 3 types of streets. So which one is it? Alley is a narrow street. Boulevard is generally a street which is tree lined. It can be a wide street with shops, but generally you call a tree lined street a boulevard. It's a French word for a street with only, where you go in, you can't come out. That is a cul-de-sac. Okay? A street where you enter, you know, you see it in movies, and my tension and blood pressure goes up, where the, you know, the hero is or heroine is trying to escape, and then she sees a street and goes in, and then they show you that the street has no way out. Then what do? That's a cul-de-sac. Okay, it's a French word for a street that's open at only one end. The other side is a dead end. There's no way out. All right. One skilled in the care of feet and the ailments of the feet. फीट का डॉक्टर को क्या बोलते हैं? पोडियाट्रिस्ट, कीरोपोडिस्ट, पेडियाट्रिशियन और बोथ ए एंड बी. One who takes care of the feet and ailments of the feet. Podiatrist, chiropodist, pediatrician, or both A and B. Look up the dictionary. Look up the dictionary, because those who marked A is also correct are correct. Those who marked B are also correct, depending on where you which system are you following. Podiatrist and chiropodist, both. In America they call them chiro practitioners, chiropodists. Alright, so both A and B are correct. C is a children's doctor who specializes in children's ailments. So the correct answer is D. Those who marked A and B, give yourselves half marks. Those who marked D, give yourselves the full mark. Clear? Alright, let's go to idioms. To put the cart before the horse. What do you think it means? To put the cart before, I have not given a sentence. To put the cart before the horse. To treat an animal unkindly, to reverse the natural order of things, to conform and follow the rules, or to indulge in corrupt practices. What does the statement to put the cart before the horse mean? Some idioms, you can look at it and guess the meaning. Some, if you try to do that, you're in trouble. This is one of the easier idioms where the literal meaning seems to be the actual meaning, right? Horse draws the cart. If you put the cart before the horse, you are trying to do things the other way round, right? To reverse the natural order of things, right? What is a Hobson's choice? To have too many choices, too many options, to choose. Next time I'll give you sentences, and sentences where you can understand the meaning. I'll do a class so only for idioms and phrases. That time I'll give you sentences, different ways in which we can ask idioms and phrases. To have too many options, to choose between two equal and difficult options, I am A or I am B. Is that a Hobson's choice? The absence of a real alternative, or to get the best choices available. What do you think is the meaning of Hobson's choice? Hobson was a innkeeper. He used to keep horses. In those days, people used to travel by horses, and more like the system here, they would take a horse from one place to another, and then from there that belonged to that innkeeper, they take another horse to the next destination, because one horse can't take them throughout the journey. Now, the innkeeper would give the travelers who wanted to rent a horse for a night or for a day a choice that you take the first horse next to the door or don't take any. So Hobson's choice is where he is not actually giving you a choice. Heads I win, tails you lose. That's the Hobson's choice, because it's not a choice. It means the absence of a real alternative. It is not an actual choice. That's a Hobson's choice. Okay? To be in the haunts of a dilemma is to be between two equal and difficult options. At the 11th hour, what do you think that means? To get an unexpected gift, to miss an opportunity in the middle of the night, or at the last moment, at the 11th hour. Many of you cat, you can't do this, but many of you, when you were in college, especially those in professional colleges, would do their preparations at the, no, not just preparations, projects. My children have trained me very well. Project is due, tomorrow is the deadline. You will sit at the 11th hour and try to do it. 11th hour means at the last moment. Alright, so next time, I hope you've learned some words. Now, the best way to remember these words, somebody was saying so many words, how will I remember it? Before you start the next class, you have other activities, don't even think about it. Whenever is my next YT choice? Why not 23rd hour? I do not know. Idioms have no meaning, Virendra. Okay, what is the meaning of the 13th hour? We will know about that. Okay, the clock only has 12, that is why. Alright, let's go on. So, when I take the next vocabulary class and you decide to attend it, sit back and think what were some of the words that I learned in the last class. Try to write down at least the words, if not their meanings. That's the best way to recap what you have learned. Alright? Okay, now those of you who haven't joined us, do join us, unlock your free trial. We are offering the test series, which is mocks, topic tests, video solutions, detailed mock analysis, and lots of practice questions. Alright, 2023 comprehensive program new batch is there, the crash course. Whenever you decide to join, you have a scholarship test. Every month we have it. So join it to avail the scholarship so that you get a waiver on your free. This is a very important announcement on 27th August at 3 p.m. I hope you all took the All India Open Mock. You all have taken it, I hope. If you haven't, I think it's still on the window. Take it. We will have All India Open Mock analysis on the 27th of August at 3 p.m. We have a very famous team of mentors, the best in the industry, Srinivas, Gautam, Saral, Vikrant, Naveen and Gaurav, who will be giving you a detailed analysis, question-wise discussion, and telling you what your attempt should have been. Ye kya? Did you choose this set in DILR? You probably shouldn't have. So that strategy is very important to get the all-important 99+ percentile. So do join us in that analysis. Join our social network channels so that you get intimation of all our courses, paid and free. I will see you again very soon in yet another session on vocabulary or grammar. Until then, bye-bye. Have a great day.